Let me tell you something most people don't say out loud, but everyone needs to understand deep down. If you want to rise above the ordinary, if you want to carve out a life that's truly yours, if you want to be more than just another face in the crowd, then you have to be strong enough to stand alone when life demands it. Not because you'll always be alone, but because there will be seasons when you'll have no other choice. And it's in those seasons that your real character is revealed. It's in those quiet testing hours that you decide who you are going to be when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one's lending a hand. How you hold yourself together in those moments shapes the kind of strength that can't be stolen, shaken, or faked. It's easy to look confident when you're surrounded by applause. It's easy to speak big words when there's a crowd cheering you on. But the real measure of who you are is how you speak to yourself when the room goes silent. How you move forward when every plan falls apart. How you keep your heart soft when the world turns cold. Too many people run from solitude because they mistake it for something broken. They see an empty room and think it means they've failed. They hear silence and assume something's wrong. But the truth is, there's a quiet power in being alone. There's wisdom in the silence. There's a depth you can't reach when you're always surrounded by noise. There's something sacred about standing on your own 2 feet, becoming your own safety net, your own voice of reason, your own biggest supporter. Because here's the reality no one wants to face. There will be days when nobody calls. Days when your phone stays silent, when the people you thought would stay drift away, when the ones who promised they'd show up are nowhere to be found. And that's when you find out what you're made of. That's when you learn to lean on discipline instead of praise. That's when you stop begging for permission to be enough. That's when you decide that your value isn't up for debate, not by friends, not by family, not by anyone. You have to build yourself into someone so steady that when people leave, you don't crumble with them. When they doubt you, you don't start doubting yourself. When the plan falls through, you don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Because people will come and go. Some will love you fiercely. Some will betray you quietly. Some will stay only long enough to drain your energy. That's just life. But you can't let their inconsistency shake your foundation. You have to be so rooted in who you are that no storm can uproot you. Strength doesn't mean you're numb to pain. It doesn't mean you pretend everything's fine when it isn't. It means you feel it all, the heartbreak, the disappointment, the loneliness, but you don't let it destroy you. You cry when you need to, but you don't surrender. You hurt, but you don't give up hope. You bend under the pressure, but you don't snap. That's real resilience, the kind that's built when you have nothing to lean on but your own resolve. And I know it's not easy. It can feel brutal to watch people with their tight circles, their built-in support, their cheering squads while your journey feels quiet, heavy, and endless. But don't confuse quiet with empty. Don't mistake stillness for lack of progress. Sometimes life removes you from the crowd because it needs to do something in you that can't happen with eyes on you. Sometimes the best parts of you are carved out in the shadows. The most profound lessons come when the world goes quiet and you're left alone with your thoughts. In that silence, you learn who you are beneath the performance. You see the patterns you keep repeating. You confront the fears you've been avoiding. You hear the truths you've drowned out with noise. And you discover the version of you who doesn't need constant reassurance to keep moving forward. That version of you is who you'll rely on when everything gets tested. That's the self that will stand with you when you're walking through betrayals, closed doors, and hard lessons. Real strength isn't built under bright lights and loud praise. It's shaped in the unseen hours when you choose to keep going, even when nobody's watching. It's proven not by how many people show up for you, but by how you show up for yourself when nobody else does. Many people fear being alone because they've never learned how to sit with themselves in silence. They chase relationships, friendships, distractions, anything to keep from hearing their own thoughts. But when you find the courage to sit quietly with your own soul, you gain something priceless. You realize you are complete all by yourself. So if your phone is quiet tonight, don't see it as emptiness. See it as an invitation. Use the silence to build something solid within you. Use the stillness to reconnect with the part of you that doesn't crumble under pressure. Because one day, that part of you, the quiet, steady, unshakable part, will be what carries you through storms that would break lesser spirits. Be alone when you must. Be strong because you choose to be. And watch how life changes when you stop fearing your own company and start trusting your own strength. Here's the thing you need to understand deep in your bones. When you finally learn to be at ease in your own company, you become a threat to anything that ever tried to keep you small. You're a threat to mediocrity, to the habits that used to hold you back, to the people who thought they could manipulate your longing for connection. Because now your peace isn't up for negotiation. Your worth isn't tied to who shows up or who stays. Your purpose doesn't shrink when the room is empty. You become your own sanctuary, your own steady ground, your own source of strength. Don't get confused, though. Knowing how to stand alone doesn't mean you'll never have good people around you. It just means when they do show up, they're a blessing, not a crutch. It means you're not desperate for company just to feel whole. You choose connections because they add to you, not because you're afraid to sit in silence. Your love is deep, but it doesn't beg. Your presence is kind, but it doesn't perform. You've learned how to pour into others without draining yourself dry. You know how to lift people up without setting yourself on fire to keep them warm. And yes, there will be days when it stings to walk your path alone. But let that ache refine you. Let it sharpen your understanding of what you truly want, what you'll never settle for again, what lines you'll never let anyone cross. Sometimes the biggest heartbreaks clear the way for the greatest growth. When you lose the people you thought you'd crumble without and find yourself still standing, that's power. When you fight silent battles nobody claps for, and you keep showing up anyway, that's real strength. When you keep creating, keep hoping, keep rising when nobody's watching, you're planting seeds that will outlast the noise. So if you find yourself walking solo these days, don't see it as punishment. This quiet season isn't here to break you, it's here to build you. It's not that life is denying you support. Sometimes life is shaping you to hold more. Sometimes God removes the crowd so you remember how to carry your own weight. Before you're trusted with more, you're strengthened for it. This is where resilience is built, not in the spotlight, but in the hidden hours when it's just you and your willpower, when you pick purpose over distraction, when you choose focus instead of chasing validation. Make yourself solid enough to stand on your own 2 feet, not because you're destined to do life alone, but so that when the storms come, and they will, you won't crack under the weight. You won't beg for someone to rescue you. You won't shrink into who you used to be. You'll adapt. You'll keep moving. You'll rise. And when you come through the other side, you'll be stronger, wiser, clearer about who you are and what you will never tolerate again. That's the hidden blessing of walking alone. You come home to yourself. You remember that you've always been the foundation you were looking for. And let's take it further. Maybe you found your backbone. You've said no when you needed to. You've put up boundaries that protect your heart, your time, your energy. But what happens next? After the lines are drawn and you've reclaimed your space, what comes next is peace. And you don't need anybody's permission to guard it. In this world, people will act like your time and energy are theirs for the taking. They'll expect you to drop everything just because they call. But hear this and remember it well. Just because someone wants you doesn't mean they deserve you. Just because they ask for your help doesn't mean you owe it, especially if it costs you your balance. Your peace is not passive. It's not just burning incense and hoping for calm. Peace is earned through hard choices. It's protected by clear boundaries. It's kept alive by the courage to walk away from anything that tries to steal it, even if it means your silence has to shout louder than their noise. You weren't born to explain yourself to people who refuse to understand you. You're not here to be a forever fixer for those who won't fix themselves. Your clarity matters. Your mental well-being matters. Your spirit matters. So when something threatens that, you have every right to step back and guard what's sacred inside you. You don't need to debate it. You don't need to draft an apology. You don't owe anyone a presentation on why your peace comes first. Never forget this. The day you decided to be whole on your own was the day you became unstoppable. And that version of you, the one who knows how to stand alone, how to protect your peace, how to stay soft yet unshakable, that's the version that will carry you through anything life tries to throw at you next. Let's be honest about something few people like to admit. There will always be those who say your peace makes you selfish, who claim your boundaries make you cold, who see your silence as disrespectful. Let them think what they want. Their confusion about your healing is not yours to untangle. The only person who truly understands what you need, what drains you, what lifts you, is you. So trust that knowledge. Listen to that voice inside when it whispers, "This doesn't feel right." Honor it now before you're forced to carry regret later. Because the truth is, regret often comes from ignoring the peace your soul begged you to protect. You have dreams to chase, work to do, a life to build that makes you proud to wake up in the morning. None of that can grow in soil poisoned by constant sacrifice of your mental and emotional clarity just to keep certain people close. Ask yourself this. If keeping them in your life cost you your own sanity, what exactly are you keeping? Don't mistake loyalty for self-abandonment. Don't call it love if it keeps costing you your well-being. You can care for people from afar. You can wish them healing and happiness without giving them full access to your life. You never have to prove your love by destroying your own calm. Protecting your peace doesn't make you harsh. It makes you wise. It doesn't mean you've become cruel. It means you're aware of what belongs in your atmosphere and what doesn't. Your time and your space are sacred. Not everyone gets to sit there. Not everyone earns the right to speak into your life. Not everyone is meant to stay. So don't apologize when you close the door on conversations that drain your energy. Don't feel bad for saying no to invitations that don't align with where you're going. Don't think twice about quieting the noise that was never meant to guide your journey in the first place. And if they say you're distant, let them say it. If they label you guarded, so be it. If they claim you've changed, smile and nod, because change is the point. Evolution will always look like distance to people who chose to stand still. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do for yourself is to say nothing at all. Sometimes the most powerful move is to walk away without a dramatic explanation. Not because you're weak, but because you finally know better. True peace isn't earned by pleasing the world. It's guarded by pleasing God, protecting your purpose and refusing to trade your soul for someone else's comfort. Every single time you choose peace over chaos, you're choosing clarity instead of confusion. Every time you say no to drama, you're saying yes to your future. Every time you release what disturbs your spirit, you open your hands for what will help you grow. You've come too far to keep entertaining what tears you apart. You've survived too much to keep justifying why your boundaries exist. You've grown too strong to keep letting guilt drag you back to who you used to be. You don't need anyone's green light to protect your peace. You don't need applause to honor your own healing. You don't need outside validation to claim the next level of your life. What you do need is courage. Courage to trust your own judgment. Courage to stand alone if you must. Courage to shut the door and not look back. Make this the new standard for how you live from here on out. If something costs you your peace, it's too expensive. If it robs you of joy, it's not worth it. If it cracks your spirit, don't call it love. If it delays your growth, it's not meant for you. If it clouds your mind, it's not your true direction. You weren't created to be everyone's fallback plan. You weren't put here to be an on-call savior for people who won't save themselves. You were meant to shine, to grow, to breathe freely, to live without apologizing for protecting your mind, your time, your energy. So take a breath. Let go of what weighs you down. Remember, you never needed permission to protect what's sacred inside you. Now let's talk about real strength. Not the kind you show off in your muscles or your bank account, but the quiet kind, the invisible backbone that holds you up when there's no one left to lean on. That unshakable part of you that says, even if they all walk away, I will not break. That part of you that survives loneliness, betrayal, silence, and still decides to get back up. Make yourself strong enough to stand alone when life demands it. Because here's another truth. Not everyone you pour your love into will stay. Not everyone cheering for you wants to see you win. Not everyone you help will ever repay your kindness. If your strength depends on their presence, then their absence will shatter you. But when your strength is rooted deeper in your faith, your mission, your discipline, you stay steady even when people